Casey, property manager here for Himmlisher Chateau. I want to take a couple minutes to show you how to operate this fantastic piece of equipment, this commercial griddle. But before I do, I'd like to try and share with you one of the biggest problems that we have here at Himmlisher and ask you for your help. We'd love to be able to continue to offer this wonderful experience of renting this home to everyone, but the biggest threat that we have to being able to continue to offer this home is both safety, to make sure that nobody gets hurt while operating this griddle, and that whoever is here keeps people from getting burned around the outside of the griddle, especially small children. And also we have to remind people to please remember that in this area there's a lot of people that are full-time residents here and they're not on vacation every day. We must make sure that our tenants that are here, when they go outside, that they keep their voices down, especially after 9 and 10 o'clock at night. When they're coming and going to the car, that they keep their voices down. Because this is a quiet place with a lot of wildlife, and the neighbors like to see the wildlife, and if we have a lot of noise coming and going, it's going to scare them, and if we get a lot of complaints at some point, we may not be able to continue to rent this home, and that would be tragic. So please, when you're outside, keep your voices down. When you're driving up and down the driveway, please drive your automobile slowly, because it kicks up a lot of dust, and when you drive up and down fast, it upsets the neighbors and it upsets the local wildlife. So please drive up and down the driveway slowly and keep your voices down outside. Out at our hot tub, by Mass Hope ordinance, there's no hot tub parties after 10 o'clock. They instituted that because they want to make sure that it's quiet outside. Inside, by all means, have all the noise and fun you can possibly imagine. The house is insulated well. The sound systems are outrageous. They're very, very loud. You can turn them up as loud as you want. You can have a dance party. You can listen to great music without any fear of waking the neighbors up, even if it's 2, 3 in the morning. We've never had a situation, as long as the windows are closed and the air conditioning's on, or in the wintertime. But as soon as you step outside, please, no one outside after 10 talking and making noise. And when you go back and forth to your cars, be respectful that this is a quiet place and the neighbors are there, so that we can continue to rent. It's out of control. We have a full-size fire extinguisher right over here on the wall. You simply lift it right up and it'll come right off. And you can take the hose out, pull the pin, the safety pin, and then you can extinguish the fire. Of course, we would prefer, just to do this in an absolute emergency only, because this is a powdered chemical fire extinguisher that will make a real mess. But you always want to put a grease fire out with a fire extinguisher. Never try and put a grease fire out with water. So remember that this fire extinguisher, should you get in an emergency, is always hanging right here, very close and right at hand. So once you have the griddle on and heated, the first thing you want to do to turn the griddle on is to make sure the gas valve is on, which we'll show you at the end of this, how to turn the gas valve on. And you light both pilots, and then once both pilots are lit, then usually you bring up just one side of the griddle as your hot side that you're going to have a little bit hotter for cooking your meats and your eggs and so on, and the other side you keep a little cooler, and you can adjust the flame from looking under here at the flame as you're turning the valve up and down. The griddle tools are different than the tools that we use for cooking in a pots and pan. The pots and pan tools are Teflon, that work with Teflon. We don't use these on the griddle. These will actually deform with the amount of heat that comes off the griddle. We use the regular metal edge tools. These spatulas look very similar, but there's one spatula in here that is actually made to fit in this trough exactly. If you notice, this spatula will not fit unless you turn it on an angle. This one fits exactly, so as you're cooking, you want to constantly be working your grease down into this tray, which goes into your grease tray here, which you always keep lined with silver foil. It makes for an easy cleanup. So again, as you're cooking, you want to constantly be using this tool, which is your scraper blade. We recommend you wear gloves. While the grill's hot, you move your meats to the side. Let's suppose you're cooking something that's a little bit greasy, like sausage or a little bacon. Take the scraper, pull the grease back into the trough, all the way across. Once you get all the way across, then you can shuffle your meats around. Then you want to take this one spatula, which fits in here perfectly, Slide it down, everything goes into your tray. We're out on the. There's a big scraper. We keep this down underneath of this drawer over here for doing some quick work when you get done the real black greasy stuff. That's the first thing you do. When it's time to totally clean up the grill and it's just not a quick fix, that's when it's time to really take, the first shot is to take your blade here, pull everything into the trough, it'll come down all the way across. Then after that, then the real hard areas, you give it you put the gloves on. Of course, there'll be a lot of heat coming off there that's not coming off now. Give it a real hard scraping in those areas to get rid of the black. The very last step, which we recommend, we really need you to do if you're staying here at Mr. Chateau, whether you use the grill or not, this is metal and it will rust just open to the air. And whether you try hard or not, you're going to have glasses that sit down and maybe some liquid seeps around the edge. If you'd be so kind to just take this bottle of vegetable oil, just spray a little bit on like I'm doing here, a paper towel.
Okay, so
simply just wipe it.
I want to show you how to light the griddle now that we've talked about all the safety precautions and so on, and want to remind you that this is just for commercial chefs that are familiar with this equipment. You'll see that there's a red button here and blue gas valves. The red button is to light the pilot lights. You cannot light the pilot lights or turn these gas valves on until you turn the main gas valve on. And the main gas valve is somewhat hidden and purposely so that we make sure that you take the time to review this program even if you are a trained professional. So if you come with me now and look where this cabinet door is, you have to get way into the back of this cabinet in order to find the gas valve to turn the main gas valve on. So as we open up this door, I'm going to get a flashlight and bring you in here. It's not only in the back of this cabinet, but if you look, you have to get your arm way, way back there on the right. You're actually not going to see this valve other than in this movie. You can see the red handle of that valve. It's perpendicular to the pipe right now. There it is there, very well illuminated. The red handle is perpendicular to the pipe. That red handle needs to be changed. Just turned it. We'll take it back in there again now and show you the new position of the valve. You see now the red valve is parallel with the gas line. That is the on position. Once the gas valve is on, your next step is to come over to this area to light the pilot light. So again, the red buttons light the pilot. You hold the button in that allows gas to go to the pilot while you take the barbecue lighter and you strike it and hold it there at the pilot until it lights. Once it lights, you hold it for 5 more seconds before you let it go. So if you come down here now on this angle and look up where I'm all the way after you turn that valve on. So you see it looks like it's trying to light. It's a blue flame. So now I'm holding it for another 5 or 6 seconds, and then I'm going to extinguish the lighter and the pilot continues to burn. Now, as you see the pilot's there, I'm going to turn on the blue gas valve so you can see what happens when you light the burner, because we want you to look down here at the burner when you light it so that you can see how big the flame is. There's a lot of flame, and turn it down. There's a real little bit of flame. So one side should be about that much flame, and your hot side should be much further. Now let's go over here and light the other one. You'll see the first one took a long time to light.